Hoplites do have a backup weapon. It's the Xiphos. It's a slashing sword. It's a straight edge blade, which if the doru breaks, you can draw your Xiphos and put up a good fighter. It's a secondary weapon though, and you probably wouldn't use it if you had a spear available because it just doesn't have that range. It makes you a bit more vulnerable because as you try to stay behind your shield.
Is it more that because with the doru you are able to hit without getting hit back most
Yeah,
of the time, whereas with the Xiphos you're like, okay, he can also hit me back.
yeah. I have a story from school actually where it was around the time that the movie 300 was, and people made a bunch of stupid cardboard weapons like cardboard spears and swords as part of the ancient history class. And I remember actually trying to fight someone with a Xiphos, fighting someone holding a doru. Yeah, it didn't end well. I could not touch him at all. I'm pretty sure he ended up drawing blood, even even though the weapons were made of cardboard.
There you have it, folks. Spears were actually pretty useful.
Yeah, from my personal experience, I can confirm this. Uh, the hoplite is expected to wear a lot more than just a shield for protection. They'll also have a breastplate. This breastplate can vary if you're trying to get a bit of a discount. You might wear linthorax, which is basically just layers of linen wrapped tight around each other to form this sort of ancient Greek version of Kevlar. It's pretty good for deflecting arrows, as well as glancing blows. If you're really wanting to splash out, though, you'll buy a muscled bronze cuirass.
Like what we have on the example here, right?
Yeah,
This is like the stereotypical hoplite.
yeah. And you're, you'll also wear a helmet. There are different helmet variations, but probably the most popularly known one is the Corinthian, which is just which encloses the entire face, and it sort of has it really only has eye holes and a hole for your mouth. I don't know if you're able to get a picture of one up.
Just give me one moment. I'll just have to bring it up. I think for the audience's benefit, while I just bring up that image, just think of like what the Spartans in the movie 300 were wearing.
Oh, uh, although we laugh about how the Spartans are presented in 300. It's if you look at Greek art of some hoplite battles, especially in mythology, a lot of the blokes are actually fighting in the nude with just shield and spear. So in terms of a romanticized representation of the Spartans, 300 didn't act wasn't too far off.
I'm gonna question like this Persian magician units that are throwing bombs though. Just saying.
Yeah, and the immortal samurai.
Yeah, but I guess this is the Corinthian helmet that I just pulled up.
Yep. Also, I've worn a Corinthian helmet. There's actually one in my attic right now. It's it's a pretty heavy piece of equipment. You wouldn't want to walk around in it for any longer than is necessary. You wouldn't want to march an entire day wearing all of your kit. So what usually happens is, if you're rich enough to afford a horse, you just trot along and have a slave carry all of your equipment. However, otherwise, all you probably hold is probably maybe the spear and the shield, just in case you get taken by surprise, and have a slave hold your helmet and your body armor for you. Because a lot of the kit is very heavy when you put it all on at the same time.
And I think we could just quickly add that they usually would have greaves, and some might also have the bracers, right?
Yeah. As as with the rest of the equipment, hoplites supply their own equipment, so they're responsible for their own safety. And if you don't have enough money, what you can do is just uh, purchase a greave, but purchase a greave only for the leg that will be closest to the enemy, and that would be the leg closest to the shield as you put it out. So your back leg will be unprotected, but the front leg, which is probably the most important one that you want, that you don't want getting injured,
Well, that's, I guess,
is
citizen
covered.
soldiers for you, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, this is what
I think
happens when you
it's
have to buy your own equipment.
true. I think it is only Philip of Macedon was, I think, when large scale units started to get furnished at the state's expense.
Yeah.
And this is the question, all said and done, what could be, and let's just make the assumption that the Hoplite is wearing the bronze breastplate.
Yeah.
What could be the total, weight with those? Doru, Z-Force, breastplate, Aegis, Corinthian helmet, everything. Like, let's just assume a fully armored guy.
About probably 23 to 32 kilograms of stuff on your back.
Yeah, I was gonna say about
Yep.
80 pounds. Yeah.
Well,
So
at
there
least
is
one thing of
yeah,
the Aegis, it lets you smash.
yeah. The aspis is really the heart of the hoplite because it not only protects them, it protects the man next to them as part of the phalanx. So, as I said, if you get a reputation for cowardice in an ancient Greek city, especially Athens, it does appear in Aristophanes, you will get mocked publicly as that bloke that threw away the shield that time.
Is it kind of like from that kind of like that statement that, right, you said the shield is what a cowardly Greek would throw first, which is
Yeah,
why the Spartan said you come back with your shield or on it.
yeah, exactly. Because you're not only just trying to get away from the battle uh, to protect yourself, you're also discarding the shield and thus discarding the means to protect the man next to you. So it sort of shows a level of disregard towards the city for your own self-preservation. And hoplites are sort of trained from pretty early ages, basically when they're teenagers, by their local communities at this point in Athens to both trained as part of an education in both literacy, music, and also athletics. And part of and the Greeks do have an athletic event where you dress up in all the full hoplite kit and you run a race.
Those were also Olympic events, right, with
Yep.
proper laurels of wreaths to be
Yeah.
provided to the winner.
Yeah. So the Greeks knew that this was that if you wanted a citizen body, a citizen army that's fit, that's ready for combat, you really need to train them in this armor and acclimatize them to this kit. Because obviously, you can't just rock up to your first battle wearing all of this kit without any training, and it's just not going to end very well. So they do take steps to prepare.
All right. Should we just maybe talk about like how the Persians were armored? Right. Naturally, they were lighter and a more diverse bunch. Let me just bring up a picture I just have.
As you can see, Persia at this point has an empire that stretches from the Mediterranean to the banks of the Indus. And even in, I guess, the borders of Persia itself, there are different sort of troop compositions because lots of different tribes and sort of communities all inhabit all inhabit under the suzerainty of the Persian king. You'll have anyone you could have equipment ranging from people in leather jackets to with large square shields and a spear to sometimes even sort of Greek style linthrax with composite bows, as you can see if you're watching along and you can see the pictures. You can even get scale mail if you're one of the elite soldiers of the Persian immortals.
I think Exhibit C, as you can
Yeah,
see here on the picture.
yeah, and
But on an average, they were more lightly armed.
yeah, the average Persian soldier drawn up from a corner of Darius's empire is going to be a lot less well armored than a citizen soldier of Athens. And what should be made a note of are the power of Persian bows.